Damage in the DMV. Cleanup is underway after severe storms slammed the area. Fairfax County, one of the hardest hit. We're live there with a look at the destruction left behind, and we're tracking the possibility of more storms today. Primary day. The polls open in 1 hour in Maryland, where several key races will be decided. We're live with what you need to know if you're casting a ballot.
Messi's just inspirational.
Another historic World Cup match right here on Fox 5. The new record set by Lionel Messi. Your news at 6 starts now. The big story here at 6, storm damage across the D.C. region. A look at some of the mess left behind following last night's storms. In Northern Virginia appears to be one of the hardest hit areas.
That's right. This morning, there are also thousands of power outages across the DMV, and we could see another round of rain and storms later today. We have live team coverage this hour. Our Maureen Ume live in Fairfax County this morning with a look at the damage there.
And Caesar is tracking your morning commute, but we're going to start things off with Taylor, who's tracking the possibility, Taylor, of even more storms this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still a chance we get some kind of storms out there, but I do think the severity is looking much lower for today compared to what we dealt with yesterday. Seeing some showers on the heels of those storms last night. You can see them moving in, trying to approach the mountains for now. I do think we'll get additional showers out there this morning, and then the chance for maybe a couple of pop-up storms, but that's not going to be everywhere. So we'll have a full breakdown of that, plus a look ahead to when we'll finally get that sunshine back in the sky coming up here in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Taylor. So right now, one thing that we are focusing on here for the Tuesday morning commute is some of that residual cleanup here. So we'll go ahead and talk about one specifically, Guinea Road in the east and westbound direction in Burke. Of course, it's closed due to storm damage, as well as also the downed trees and power lines. So we'll send it back to you.
All right, Caesar, thank you so much. More now, the cleanup underway across the D.C. region after last night's storms.
Some strong winds toppling trees, and they brought down power lines with them, with Fairfax County being one of the hardest hit areas. Our Maureen Ume live in Burke this morning with a look at the damage in that area. Maureen, what are you seeing?
So you heard Caesar mention Guinea Road, right? That's where we're on in Fairfax County and Burke. Let me take you to what's happening here. A very, very extensive restoration work happening here with Dominion Energy crews. They've been here for hours on end. We're being told they're going to be here for hours more, trying to restore power to this area that has been left powerless after a storm came through here. And this seems to be what we're calling, at least I am, the epicenter from what I've seen this morning. You can see these trees. If Joseph could pan to some of them, they were just kind of sheared off. And some of them just twisted and cracked off. I mean, it's unbelievable in the daylight when you can really see the extent of the damage. When we drove through here at about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., it was still dark. And so we thought, OK, there's some problems, but not much. The daylight, you can really see the extent of it. These trees just taken out and snapped. They brought down tons of power lines. And so you're going to see a lot of road closures, too. Be careful about that when you're heading out this morning, because your normal route, you're going to get to it. You're going to see cones blocking it off, yellow tape, because they are down power lines that authorities are very concerned could still be live and very, very dangerous. And so they're asking you to stay away from those. And so you might see some detours as you drive this morning. But again, the story being these trees and down power lines, debris everywhere. The cleanup is going to be extensive this morning. What we're hearing, though, right now is no damage, nobody injured from this. But again, as the day wears on, people might start reporting that they were injured as they're assessing their damage and maybe getting out in their yards and, hurting themselves. So please be careful again if you're going out there. This is Fairfax County, but I want to point out that the damage from the storm was not just relegated to Fairfax County. We've heard about damage in Bowie. We also have actually damage happening in Stafford County. If we could show you a picture that a viewer sent in from Woodland Drive. This is in Stafford County. Take a look at this. A tree crashing on top of a home causing significant damage to the roof there. Fortunately, no injuries or reports of serious injuries connected to the storm so far. But overnight crews across the region have been working to remove these trees from roadways, trying to restore power, just even assessing the damage. Officials are definitely urging residents, as I said before, stay away from any downed power lines and report them immediately. But again, you're seeing Stafford County, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Fairfax County, just regionally, a lot of damage from this storm. So coming back here live again, you see the crews working. They will be here for several more hours trying to restore power to this area. We'll, of course, try to get some reaction. We've been seeing residents now finally coming out, and they're assessing damage. A lot of them they don't want to be bothered just yet. So we'll respect that and try to talk to them when they're feeling up to it. But again, just a lot of fright when this came through, we're hearing. We'll continue to monitor it, bring you the latest as we get the information from people as they come out, and of course from power crews as well. That's it for now. Send it back to you guys in the studio.
Daylight certainly revealing the full extent of that damage. Thanks, Maureen. Well, today is primary day in Maryland. Polls open just in 1 hour from 7 a.m. up until close at 8 p.m. Voters will decide upon several key races, including the one for governor, attorney general, congressional seats, and county positions. You can register to vote in person. And Stephanie Ramirez, will have much more in the live report ahead in our next half hour.
The Department of Justice formally appealing a federal judge's decision to throw out human smuggling charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Last month, the judge ruled federal prosecutors were improperly motivated by retaliation after Kilmar Abrego Garcia successfully challenged his deportation from Maryland to El Salvador. The latest in this case, we'll have more of it coming up in a live report at 6:30 this morning.
It is 6:05 as we take in this live view from Fredericksburg, Virginia. And, in my area, all I got was rain last night, Taylor.
I know. It was very pocketed. Not everyone saw the severe weather like we saw in Burke, Virginia. But, a lot of people at least got some beneficial rain and that reduced severe weather threat. Today, we're going to see additional rain showers building here shortly. That may impact part of the morning commute. But the severe weather threat looks to be much lower for today in terms of the thunderstorm activity. Temperatures currently are in the 70s. It's very humid outside, still very saturated, so don't be surprised if you get some sprinkles out there early this morning. We're in the upper 60s to low 70s with the temperatures. Here's a live look at radar. We do have some spotty showers, especially moving in towards I-270. If you're heading out that direction up towards Hagerstown, you're going to run into some showers, or west towards Front Royal. You're certainly going to run into those rain showers over the mountains. So that's drifting eastward as it does. We'll get additional showers late morning through the early period of the afternoon. Not going to rule out the chance for a couple of thunderstorms popping up with this front moving through too, especially across southern Maryland and parts of Virginia. So here's how today kind of shapes up. We'll keep the shower threat around. Temperatures will kind of hold steady in the mid 70s. So today will actually be the coolest day of the entire week, but it's still going to be pretty humid out there. Showers eventually clear late afternoon into the early evening, and that's going to lead into a pretty nice stretch of weather for a couple of days. So of course, we'll talk more about that 7-day coming up here in a couple of minutes. You can also look at that 7-day by downloading the Fox Local app. All you have to do is scan the QR code right there on your screen. Now we're coming up on 6:07 a.m. We're going to head to the Fox 5 fan club this morning on a lighter note. And we're going to say good morning to Victoria from California, Maryland. My hubby loves Fox 5. Thank you so much for watching. It looks like you're relaxing there too. I love it. Hopefully you're enjoying your Tuesday and the storms weren't too bad for you yesterday. We also have Victoria. Thank you for saying a second photo too. My dad and I are both Fox 5 fans. We love watching you every morning. I can't tell if that's from National Harbor or where that picture is, but it looks amazing. The weather looks fantastic. Thank you so much for watching Fox 5. Caesar?
Thanks, Taylor. So far right now, let's talk about some traffic. So we're dealing here with the 270 southbound incident. So it's a crash after Maryland 80. You can see that it's been moved to the right shoulder, and delays from Maryland 85 are around 24 minutes for us this morning. So again, just know that there is a bit of a slowdown there. 95 in northbound main lanes between Quantico and the Beltway. We're around 31 minutes so far this morning. Just seeing the normal increase in cars on the road that's creating some slowdowns. But then again, hey, the big thing right now is the storm damage, right, that has closed certain streets. So this one here, Guinea Road in Burke in the east and westbound direction is closed due to the storm damage, including down trees and power lines between Zion Road and Lake Point Drive. So make sure to follow the posted detours. Over to you.
Well, now to the latest on peace talks with Iran. Vice President J.D. Vance saying that talks with Iranian officials in Switzerland have laid on what he calls a good foundation for a successful final peace deal following months of conflict. Negotiators are working on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, a key global shipping route, and addressing fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meantime, tanker traffic through the strait is increasing, and oil prices fell as markets reacted to the signs of progress.
New details in the search for the missing mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Reports say 2 ransom notes sent to the family just days after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance included details that the 84-year-old had died. Investigators believe that the same person or group of kidnappers sent those ransom notes, and they were likely sent from the same computer IP address. Guthrie reportedly died shortly after being taken from her home. There's been no comments yet at this point from the FBI or the Guthrie family. The Supreme Court has reinstated a murder conviction in the case of Etan Potts. The 6-year-old disappeared while walking to his Manhattan school bus stop in 1979. Pedro Hernandez, a store clerk in the neighborhood, was named as a suspect more than 30 years later. He confessed to the crime, but his lawyers argued it was a false confession due to mental illness. His first trial ended in a hung jury. He was convicted in a second trial in 2017 and sentenced to 25 years behind bars. An appeals court overturned his conviction last year over improper juror practices.
A total of 7 people are now charged in connection to an alleged plot targeting the recent UFC fights at the White House. Most recently, federal prosecutors accused Jordan Rinker of Missouri of helping to fund the operation and transferring a shotgun to another suspect. Washington State resident William Faulkner is accused of buying and operating drones intended for use in that attack. At least 5 people were arrested and charged, accused of vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. That's in addition to 5 other people who were issued citations. Despite a multi-million-dollar refresh, the reflecting pool has dealt with an algae bloom and peeling blue liner. President Donald Trump says evidence of the vandalism, including a large gash and illegal chemicals, will be provided in court.
A bipartisan housing bill aimed at boosting supply and lowering costs for Americans now heads to the House. The Senate passed that bill yesterday. It is expected to pass in the House later this week. The measure would ban corporate investors from buying single-family homes, cut red tape for new construction, and reward cities that exceed housing goals.